Live from the free province of Miami, Florida, it's Open Bar Friday. Yes, sir, Bob, folks, it is Open Bar Friday, and well, it's typical for Brandon to be screwing things up, and we sure got a lot of that going for you too, don't we? Well, first off, he wants to trade a convicted arms dealer slash terrorist for I have it here, Brittany Griner, that basketball woman who said in praise to Joe, "I voted for you in the first time in my life." Maybe that's definitely not how she sounds, but I'm not going to try and mimic her voice because, well, I'm just trying not to get banned from YouTube again. Um, so yeah, that's one, and then the Democrats. That's one thing we're gonna get to. The Democrats here also have passed a ban on assault weapons. Yes, they did. What this entails, we'll get into in the course of the program. It's pretty stupid. They don't know what the hell they're talking about, as just about everything the Democrats do. Ron DeSantis files a complaint against a drag queen bar in Wynwood for having children, allowing children to visit their shows. Because we're pretty, and here in the free state of Florida, we're pretty damn sick of having gay shoved down our throats. I know I am. I don't know about the rest of you around the country or wherever you might be. And China, man, they seem to have Joe by the droopy nutsack there because if you wait, hold on, that's not my Chinese, that's Japanese. Where if you decide you want to send your speaker house to Taiwan, well, you'll be praying with fire. If you pray with fire, you're gonna get burned. That's how it happens here in China. Pray with fire, you're gonna get burned. Now under Trump, it'll be like, listen, screw you, suck on my Trump Tower. I'm sending my people to Taiwan, and you're going to do anything about it because my button's bigger than yours. But Joe, hey, I'll give you more oil. I'll give you, you don't want me to send anybody over there. Oh, that's fine. I don't want to piss you off because you made me and my son millions of dollars, but we're not going to get in there. When the hell is this guy going to get prosecuted? I mean, Clay Travis and Buck Sexton have a running bet here as to who's going to owe who the steak dinner. Sadly, I think Buck might win because I don't think they're going to prosecute Hunter. Although Clay's theory, and many of you have probably heard it on Fox News or on the show itself, is that, they'll prosecute Hunter and then they'll prosecute Trump. Because if they want to prosecute Trump, they have to prosecute Hunter. Which may be better for Trump. I don't know. But that's just how it is. It's how they work. By the way, did I mention it was Open Bar Friday? Yeah, cheers. So, here we have, we'll get started. What did I start with? A Brittany Griner prison swap for the so-called Merchant of Death. Now, back in the what did we say? It's funny how the Democrats are always calling all of us Nazis. Well, the Angel of Death was Joseph Mengele, and back during the Holocaust. Here we have the Merchant of Death because he sold post-Soviet Union era planes and weapons and all of this to countries that hate the United States because he hates the United States. He's been in prison. He was captured by the DEA in 2012, I believe it was, under the Brandon Obama administration. And now they want to trade him for, hold on, Brittany Griner, which we all know who she is. And there's another guy in there. The name skips me. I can't seem to find it. Some other dude. this is everybody only focuses on Griner. There's another guy who is imprisoned, I guess, in Russia, but I can't seem to find who he is right here. We'll get back to that later. Anyhow, the main thing is to get Brittany Griner back. They don't care about a white guy that's in prison in Russia. This is for what it is. The guy's name is not the guy that it is a trade of this guy for two other guys. Victor with a K, Boat. So this is from Fox News. Brittany Griner was seen in a Russian courtroom on Friday, and her pretrial detention was extended for a month. Griner was arrested in February at a Moscow airport for allegedly carrying vape cartridges containing oils derived from cannabis and can face up to 10 years in prison if convicted. However, a trade might be on the table. Russia's TASS agency reported, citing a source, talks are underway about a prison exchange. Griner for notorious arms dealer Victor Boat. Boat is in the middle of a 25-year sentence in federal prison after he was convicted of conspiracy to kill Americans relating to the support of a Colombian terrorist organization. Gee, it seems like just about everybody's involved in South America trying to get drugs and everything in here. He was dubbed the Merchant of Death because of his notoriety for running a fleet of aging Soviet-era cargo planes to conflict-ridden hotspots in Africa. His dealings expired the Nicolas Cage film Lord of War. The U.S. State Department spokesperson reiterated to Fox News Digital that President Biden has been clear about bringing U.S. nationals who are detained overseas home. What about all the ones that are still in Afghanistan, Joe? It's been almost a year. Anyhow, the spokesperson added that to have potentially successful outcomes in bringing those people home, officials will need to have private discussions. The Biden administration's potential decision to exchange his heinous Russian criminal, who is serving time in jail in the U.S. for conspiring to kill Americans, is a huge debate. Former U.S. intel officer Rebecca Koffler told Fox News Digital, this move will only encourage the Russian intelligence services to grab Americans on Russian soil so they can be exchanged for much more valuable assets for Putin. Now, again, this basically just sums up everything the Biden administration has done. I mean, if he would have just taken office and done absolutely nothing, as opposed to trying to undo everything the Trump administration had done, you wouldn't be paying. Well, actually, I got gas for what, $3.77 today, and I haven't been so excited to get gas for $3.77 since Obama was in office. It seems to be the correlation with Democrats and high gas prices. Because they want to enrich the Muslim countries. Because they know that they have money. And, hey, they're going to be fine. They're politicians. The Muslims, whatever, they ain't going to, so they think. I mean, just like Clinton with bin Laden and well, the Bushes even with bin Laden. Yeah, we'll help him. Oh, boom, he blew up the basement of the World Trade Center in 1993. And then, boom, he sent planes into it. Politicians, these people in these countries, they don't care about America. They want America to no longer exist. They want to take over the land, the fertile land, the oil, the everything else. But the Democrats, everybody, one big world happy family. No, screw the rest of the world. We're not here to fend for the rest of the world. We're here to fend for us. And if they pose a threat to us, then we go after them. It's an old thing. You know, there's a show on Cartoon Network called Robot Chicken. There was an old episode that was Lil Hitler, right? So it was a miniature Hitler child in a classroom. And he was like, I need a Polish boy's desk, yeah. And so that next clip, Polish boys disappeared and Hitler has that desk. Then, next clip, Hitler's surrounded by a bunch of empty desks, and you got an American guy just sipping on a Coke, just, not my problem. And then some little Japanese kid comes, knocks his Coke over. Okay, now it's my problem. That's kind of the deal. That's how we're supposed to be. We are not the world's police. But if you do mess with us, you're going to boot so far up your ass that you'll need an ox cart to pull it out. It's just so funny. They thought that Trump was going to cause World War III, and Joe Biden's the hell on his way to doing it. So enough about that topic. You all know the hell about it. We're going to stay on the topic of foreign policy. This is from the Washington Examiner. Opinion of why Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan is such a big deal for China. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is flying to Asia, the second most powerful politician in the United States. That is pretty damn scary. I hope she doesn't wear a bathing suit like she did in Italy. They might give us a bunch of free wheelbarrows, though, to hold them things up. Anyhow, she is likely to visit Taiwan between the Indonesia and Japan legs of the trip. But communist China is in rage over this. On Thursday, President Xi issued a video call with Crypt Keeper Joe to warn that those who play with fire will get burned. Xi and the Chinese Party Orthodoxy told that Taiwan is not only a breakaway province, but also a betrayal of the greater Chinese communist destiny. Xi sings himself as a helmsman of leading the ship destiny to a future of unparalleled global hegemony. A democratic sovereign Taiwan is a very physical obstacle to that destination. To Beijing, a democratic Taiwan is a cancer that one way or another must be eradicated. Put simply, it cannot exist with communist China. Now, if you guys know anything about history, the Chinese flag used to be the flag of Taiwan before they went to their little hammer, sickles, stars, and this, that, and the other thing. They went fully communist. This was under Chiang Kai-shek, I believe. I was watching the Flying Tigers, great John Wayne film the other day. They had those, the Taiwan star and everything on them. So that being said, that's basically the free people of China moved to Taiwan because they didn't want to deal with that crap anymore. Nobody wants to deal with communism. Communism always fails. Sure, you'll get a ration of rice and maybe a small ration of meat and a few eggs, and you won't have to do anything. Or, more like in China, you're just going to have to work your ass off with no chance of succeeding. So I work. Well, other than the fact that they make you. And the United States is starting that way. This is how the Democrats want it to be, folks. They want, you can stay home. You don't have to work. Everything's going to be free. Free college, free everything. Well, eventually, when 90% of the country decides, wait a minute, I can make as much money staying home, except I don't have to pay taxes on it, as I could going to work, nobody's going to go to work. And then they're going to have to force you to go to work. And you're not going to like the work you're going to do. They're going to decide what you can do, when you can, and when you can take a crap, when you can take a piss. And if you don't like it, well, you're going into the brig. That's exactly what's going to happen. And these Democrats don't seem to understand it. Communism does not work, and it never will, and it never has. And neither does socialism. You talk to anybody that lives in Venezuela, you want to buy a 24-pack of Coors Light? It costs you a month's salary. Sure, you get your government food, your government this, your government crap. But it doesn't get you anywhere. You are stuck. That's what made this country so great. That's why so many people are constantly, every day, Coast Guard is intercepting Cuban migrants, making this dangerous track on rafts 90 miles across at this time of year. Sometimes very volatile Florida Straits. You get caught in a storm out there and you're in this little raft or a car boat or something and you got 12-foot seas, good luck to you. They risk their lives to come here. Now, of course, on the southern border, they're letting them all through. And why, folks? Are they letting all the people coming through Mexico? Now, if the Cubans try and come through that way, which is a lot harder for them because they're in a communist country and they can't leave, they send them back. Why? Because the Cubans, you see, the Mexicans and everybody that comes across the southern border, the Democrats are letting them in so they could be future Democratic voters. The Cubans will never vote Democrat, especially not with this group of Democrats. And that all stems from JFK screwing up the Bay of Pigs is number one. And the fact that these Democrats are sympathizers with communist countries, believe in socialism, and the Cuban people have seen what that has done to their country, they will never vote Democrat because they don't want that to happen here. That is why Florida has become more red. And the only way they're going to change that is to, very obviously, cheat. And they're already talking about mailing out ballots, folks. They're already talking about mailing out ballots. New strain. They're calling it the midterm COVID strain. Midterm COVID strain. No, we don't want. No, not in Florida, buddy. You may be able to do that in some blue states, but not in Florida. There will be. You have to present photo ID and all this other stuff in order to be able to obtain a mail-in ballot. You have to prove who you are, and even that's not foolproof. Even that's not foolproof, folks. Because, for example, there have been ballots sent to my late mother's office. There's nobody there. Ballots to the registered voter not ballots, but, applications. During the 2020 election, they actually sent ballots. Now, thankfully, that has been changed because a homeless person, you could throw it in the trash, and a homeless person who's a convicted felon has no right to vote, could fill it out, put some willy-nilly stuff in there, send it off, and then boom, there you go. It's a counted vote, typically for a Democrat. But we're not going to get into that kind of stuff today. The next thing we're going to go on to here, while we're talking on the free state of Florida, this is from the New York Post. This is great. I was super happy when I saw this. Governor DeSantis files lewd complaint against Miami's R House for having kids at drag shows. Yes, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' administration has formally plunged into the fight over drag shows performed in front of kids, filing a complaint Tuesday against a Miami restaurant for hosting lewd activity with children in attendance. Submitted by the state's Department of Business and Regulation, the complaint accuses R House and Wynwood of hosting sexualized drag events while admitting minors. DeSantis addressed the action Wednesday morning at an unrelated press conference, arguing that the racy spectacles are inappropriate for children. Having kids involved in this is wrong, he said. That is not consistent with our law and policy in the state of Florida, and it is a disturbing trend in our society to try and sexualize these young people. That is not the way you protect children. You look out for children. DeSantis noted that the R House featured kids' menus at the events, said the venue first drew scrutiny after videos circulated showing minors in long-running drag shows. The complaint, which includes dozens of pictures from the restaurant. Oh, yeah, if you could see some of these, yeah, it's downright disgusting. From simulated sexual activity and were bare-chested, save for pasties, whatever the hell. DeSantis said the business could potentially lose its liquor license as a result of the complaint and has 21 days to submit a response. Our house called the controversy a misunderstanding in a statement, according to the fake news Miami Herald. We are aware of the complaint and are currently working with the Department of Business and Professional Regulation through our attorney to rectify the situation, the venue said. We are hopeful that Governor DeSantis, a vociferous supporter and champion of Florida's hospitality industry and small businesses, will see it as what it is, a misunderstanding, and that the matter will be resolved positively and promptly. Drag events with kids in attendance have been an issue elsewhere in the country, including New York, where taxpayer funds were used on a group that sent drag performances into city schools. Well, see, first off, folks, this is not New York. It will never be New York. Thank Christ. And, we're sick of this gay being shoved down our throats. Kids, really? You can't take a kid to a strip club with women. You can't do it. So why are they allowed to take kids to what is only a little bit far from a male strip club? Why? Somebody explain that to me, folks. I mean, it's gotten that, and you know what? Another thing I meant to mention this on last week's program. This gay crap has gone so damn far, and I'm not even going to talk about Disney. Pizza Hut, of all places. First off, I didn't even know this particular program still existed. I loved it when I was a kid. They have this program called Book It, which is for kids between preschool and fifth grade. There's a list of books on there. You read X number of books, and you get a free, I guess it's a large or a medium cheese pizza. Maybe it reduced costs nowadays. Maybe now you have to read 10 books as opposed to 5. Back when I was in school, it had to be 5 within a month period or something like that. I can't remember. I mean, I loved the program, even though, and Pizza Hut tasted a hell of a lot better back then, too. Probably thanks to Michelle Obama with the ingredients and everything. The crappier ingredients tasted better. I don't care who the hell you are. And it was always a classic pan, with a nice greasy crust, delicious pizza, and it was like, "Hey, Mom, Dad, I'll read up some books, and and then you can sign off on it, and I get a free pizza." It's a cool thing to get kids to read. But now they incorporate LGBTQ plus I, whatever the hell the fuck thing they Johnson did, this, that, and the other thing. They incorporate that in there. Now, I'm sorry if you think kids should be reading about dudes getting in the back or, lesbians munching rug, then you're a sick individual. Now, if you want to put that into high schools, then go for it. But kids, no. I'm sorry. You're a pedo if you agree with that. And the fact that everybody's always been going off the DeSantis and the don't say gay bill and the this, that, and the other thing. First off, it doesn't even say gay in the damn bill. Number one. Number two, again, all it says is you're not to teach children, and this isn't even under the age of 10, it's under the age of 9, about sexualization. You're not allowed to say, well, some boys may be girls, some girls may be boys, and some people are nothing. No. You have a penis or you have a vagina. In order to get pregnant and have a baby, you need ovaries and a uterus. You can't pop a child out through a penis. You can't have a penis removed and then magically a uterus shows up. You start getting your period, you get knocked up by a dude, and then one day, oh shit, I'm late. It doesn't work that way. Even South Park called it out years ago when Mr. Garrison had a sex change and goes, I think I'm pregnant. I didn't get my period. Well, no, actually, you can't get periods because you're a man turned into a woman. And then he goes, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Democrats like this, folks. He goes, so I can't get pregnant and have an abortion? Oh, man, what the hell was the point of getting my pecker chopped off? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Democrats like that. Speaking of that topic, Matt Gaetz, earlier this week, this was great. A lot of people don't very much like him, just like a lot of people don't very much like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I personally think that those two should, if they're married, divorce whoever they're married to and get married to each other, because that would be like the most maligned couple in all of politics. And the way that they just go about it would just be so humorous. Matt Gaetz had said something at a Turning Point USA event along the lines of, well, these women that are protesting the anti-abortion thing, they're never going to be able to get pregnant anyway because they're all fat with blue hair and nobody's going to want to get them pregnant. And of course, he was met by a huge amount of applause. And to an extent, he is right. Either that or they're short, skinny, covered in tattoos with bull rings and have no hair. And many of them are lesbians. Okay. How pray tell, no, I shouldn't say that. Assuming a lesbian, they can only have children by artificial insemination. And I don't think they're going to pay thousands of dollars for said artificial insemination, then decide, oh, no, I don't want it, and then spend a bunch more money to get an abortion. Now, sure, it's happened. Probably more for medical reasons. And again, none of these abortion laws say that you can't get one for medical reasons. They sometimes omit rape or incest, but by the time, for example, in Florida, by the time 15 weeks, you know you were raped. Get it dealt with immediately. Don't wait. They're just riling people up because it's all they have to run on. Now on to the final issue of the night. House passes ban on assault weapons. Now, this was a last-minute vote, which was announced by House Speaker Pelosi. How does Polly P, by the way, get to do so much insider trading and nobody else does? The legislation passed 217 to 213. Two Republican lawmakers, Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania and Chris Jacobs of New York, voted in support of the bill. Not a surprise. Pelosi said the ban is a crucial step in ongoing fight against deadly epidemic of gun violence. Well, I don't talk about the guy in Indiana that saved a bunch of people from this crazy. Of course, he wasn't using an assault weapon. Pelosi goes on to say, "A nation is watching unspeakable horror as assault weapons have been used in massacre after massacre in communities across the country," said on the floor during the debate of the bill. This is from the Washington Examiner, by the way. "And disturbingly, so many of these mass shootings have targeted our precious children." Actually, this is not from it's ABC News. Sorry, I called it wrong. "And so many in schools and movies, malls, and throughout our communities." Okay, first off, the guy that shot up Uvalde, his father should be prosecuted for signing off on the freaking whack job to buy the gun. I think I talked about this in my last show. If you threaten to kill your whole family with a knife and you have a bunch of knives, then maybe your father shouldn't sign off on you getting a gun. Just maybe. The laws are in place, but parents are stupid. President Joe Biden released a statement on the House passing the assault weapons ban, calling the Senate to act quickly. "The majority of the American people, I'm constipated, agree with this common sense action. Senate should move quickly to get this bill to my desk, and I will not stop fighting until it does," Biden said in the statement. "There can be no greater responsibility than to do all we can to ensure the safety of our families, our children, our homes, our communities, and our nations." Passage of the assault weapons ban comes roughly 2 decades after Congress allowed such restrictions to lapse. Democratic lawmakers say since then, mass shootings have tripled. But you know what? They don't talk about the black guys that are killing white people. They don't talk about the Democrats that are trying to kill Republicans. You don't ever hear about the vagina hat wearing Vegas shooter. You don't ever hear about the guy that shot up the Republican softball game and nearly killed Steve Scalise a few years back. You don't hear about the black guy with his 9mm that fired 30 rounds on the subway and didn't kill anybody because he didn't know how to shoot, and he was posting "Kill Whitey" all over his fake book page. You don't hear about those. Just like you don't hear about the guy that saved a bunch of people in Indiana because he was carrying a gun. You only hear about the whack jobs. And then a lot of times when they can't tie it to white supremacy, they kind of back away. Have you not figured that one out yet, folks? Because I sure have. Anyhow, if enacted, this bill would make it a crime to knowingly import, sell, manufacture, transfer, or possess a semi-automatic assault weapon, or large capacity ammunition feeding device, but some of these weapons would be allowed to be grandfathered in. Biden and gun control advocates calls to outlaw weapons like the AR-15 rifles in the wake of the mass shootings in Buffalo, New York, Uvalde, Texas, and Highland Park, Illinois. See, again, this is the problem here. Nobody knows anything. An assault weapon, and the Democrats call it a weapon of war. Yeah, you know what a weapon of war is? It's not an AR-15. They use a similar platform. It's called an M4. and it is fully automatic or can be used in 3-round bursts. An AR-15 is as fast as you can pull the trigger. They already outlawed the bump stocks, which really just kind of make it go this way. They already outlawed the echo trigger. I mean, you could use any kind of a semi-automatic hunting rifle can do just as more damage. A 223 is a very, very small projectile, very, very small. It's just the way that it moves. The gun looks way more scary than it is. And I don't know. I just, sometimes the left is just so stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. They get liberal mothers freaked out. They get school kids freaked out, and primarily through the teachers' unions. That, oh my God, I'm going to get killed with an AR-15. It doesn't make any sense. They only want to take it so that when they come to your house and say, we're going to put this in your body or you're going with us, they just don't want you to be able to defend yourselves. That's all. And the second they take away one type of firearm, believe you me, they're coming in for the rest. They'll take away, they'll say you can't get AR-15s anymore, and then they'll say you can't get 9mm semi-automatics anymore, and then eventually they'll say you can't get any kind of handguns, and then they'll say, nah, you know what, you can't even buy a revolver. I'm sorry, only the military and the cops can have guns, and that's when you're going to have a problem. If they want these AR-15s and everything to go away, they should have no Secret Service. And that's what I have to say tonight. If we can't protect ourselves, you can't have protection. That's all I have to say, folks. Have a great upcoming week. Have a great weekend. Cheers to you, and let's go, Brandon. And get out and vote red in November. Let's kick these stupid libtards off of Capitol Hill. Cheers, folks.
And don't be a bunch of cucks.